Whether they're real or a prank, cursed items seem to provoke a morbid curiosity. These nominal curses are typically the outcome of some tragic event that happened long back in the past, but there's also an upsetting number of cursed objects that have begun in only the last 100 years. From disturbed dolls to stolen jewels, objects that are said to carry a curse are sometimes as strange as the story behind them. In today's video, we are going to talk about the well-known cursed items, as well as a few that often fly under the radar. Alright, let's begin. Number 10. Petrified trees. Acquired by supernatural fanatic Zach Baggin in 2017, this famous wine box is allegedly possessed by a Dybbuk, which, in Jewish mythology, is a violent and memorizing demon. The thing which inspired the 2012 horror film. The possession gained attention when it was auctioned on eBay in 2001 by a man who argues that he purchased it at an estate sale, and its actual owner was a survivor of the Holocaust. The man noted experiencing strange activity happening when the box was around, including horrible nightmares. The object was made even more popular in 2018 when singer Post Malone touched it on an episode of Ghost Adventures and has reportedly been dealing with the effects ever since then. Number 9. The Annabelle doll. The doll's name comes from the girl who acquires it. In the early 1970s, a young college student named Donna gave the doll to Ed and Lorraine Warren, a now famous pair of mystical detectives. Initially, Donna accepted the doll as a gift from her mother, who bought it from an antique shop. Over the years, Donna and her roommate saw that the doll had a tendency to move, whether it was from locations throughout the apartment or positions upright, legs crossed, and many more. Later on, after these realizations, things started to escalate. Donna discovered notes reading, help, in the apartment, and at one night even came home to Annabelle repositioned and covered in red material. That's when she agreed to reach a medium. In reply, the medium told the girls that the doll was owned by the spirit of someone who was murdered in their building. However, when their attentive friend Lou expressed his interest that something more sinister was coming to appear, the story says that Annabelle attacked and assassinated Lou when he got up to examine noises while hanging out at the girls' apartment one night. At their humor's end, the girls reached the Warrens through a priest who concluded that the doll contained a demon straight from hell. When an exorcism failed to do the stunt, the Warrens agreed to move the doll to a comfortable location, which was inside a glass box at their museum in Connecticut. Number 8. The Hope Diamond. This is one of the most popular diamonds in the world, so possibly this isn't so surprising. However, many people have believed that reports of a curse are simple efforts to boost the object's air of mystery. In its initial form, the diamond, which was most likely cut from a mine in India, is said to have been snatched from a statue. The thief was subjected to an incredibly unfortunate death. This kicked off what appeared to be a string of alarming fates for many people who acquired or even touched it over the past few years. Jacques Collot died by suicide. Princess de Lamballe was killed in a massacre in the French Revolution, and merchant Jean Le Tavernier was wounded by wild dogs. You can breathe a sigh of relief, though, because since Harry Winston provided the diamond to the Smithsonian in 1958, the alleged curse seems to have diminished. Number 7. The Iceman. In 1991, investigators made a huge discovery when they found a mummy preserved in a glacier in the Ötztal Alps in Europe. Called the Iceman, the man was excavated and studied closely. However, like Tutankhamun, this thing also appeared to come with a curse. In fact, 7 people linked closely with the Iceman have died, and 4 of them were involved in brutal accidents. From the people who first found the mummy to the first official examiner to individuals who studied to find it later. These deaths have left more than a few people with a cold chill down their spines. Number 6. King Tut's tomb. Even if you don't know much about curses, it's possible that you've heard of the curse of King Tutankhamun. In 1923, archaeologists found the intact tomb of the Egyptian king, still loaded with all types of treasures, which included a curse too. Well, once the tomb was unlocked, the bodies started falling down. It started up with the financial supporter of the procession, Lord Carnarvon, who disappeared from an infected mosquito bite. A little over a decade after its discovery, the death toll of those associated with King Tutankhamun's tomb has risen to 20. Number 5. The Bassano vase. The 15th century Bassano vase was initially a gift for an Italian bride. She was found the other day, dead and gripping the face in her hands. It was then passed down through the families, reportedly resulting in mysterious deaths all along the way. In 1988, the vase reportedly turned up at an auction and the winning bidder died just 3 months later. It went on to a series of new owners over the following years, with each departing within months of taking ownership. Today, the vase has vanished and is allegedly buried by officials to keep its curse away. Number 4. Little Bastard. In 1955, actor James Dean was assassinated in a crash while driving his Porsche 550 Spider. The mangled remains of his car were required to be sold as spare parts for other car lovers. Unfortunately, the broken portion appeared to be cursed. First of all, it fell on a mechanic crushing his leg. Customers who have bought the engine and transmission each were involved in their own horrible car crashes, one of which was totally deadly. The tires underwent coincidental blowouts for a third person, carrying them to the hospital. Finally, the truck transferring the damaged shell of the Porsche was involved in its own crash while killing the driver. Number 3. The Terracotta Army. Alright, so maybe this one isn't as much cursed as it is the precursor of a particularly unfair situation, but we will allow you to decide. Farmers found the iconic terracotta figures of warriors, chariots, and horses which illustrate the army of the first emperor of China in 1974. The works of art were planted with the emperor in 210 BC to fulfill his empire, and the area has since become a destination for travelers all around the world to cross off their bucket lists. In past times, the farmers in the land they lived off of became outweighed by the government, businessmen, and third-party officials who wanted nothing more than to gaze and profit upon the soldiers. And you wouldn't realize it, but the farmers didn't earn a dime for the discovery. In fact, their 2,000-year-old village, which initially believed that offending the army would cause misfortune, was claimed by the state and demolished only to be transferred for gift shops. Number 2. The Hope Diamond. While the most popular gemstone in the world, studies say that a priest put a curse on the Hope Diamond that would influence anyone with it in their ownership. In fact, anyone even associated with the diamond has undergone a pretty bad life. The guy who snatched reportedly died of an illness. A chain of French royalty suffered disease, family deaths, and a little thing called the French Revolution. Even the man who provided the stone to the Smithsonian Museum, where it remains today, underwent a disastrous car accident and had his house burned down. Number 1. Pompeii's Curse. Many of the historical city of Pompeii was extremely well preserved after it was wrapped in ash from volcanic eruption. In fact, the story goes that the explosion of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD was the beginning of a curse resulting from the furious gods. Today, the city is a tourist destination, and this means that little pieces of the ruins and artwork have been taken. However, through the curse of the gods, hundreds of pieces have been refunded with letters describing the poor fortune curse which has happened as a result of the theft. It can be a guilty conscience or maybe a true curse. Alright, that's it for today's video. But before we confess our final goodbye, please note new videos are uploaded regularly on a wide variety of topics. Comment on our video to let us know what you want to see next. If you like watching our content, please consider subscribing to our channel by clicking the subscribe button down below. Thanks for watching.